I'm in the store, I drop my file, ready, drop it heat. Please don't set me off, I swing your block and make you use your feet. Won't argue on no grandma selling hit, won't have to pay a fee. Empty, Nick, yeah, he gon' swing for me. Flexing with that pep, we took your shit and bitch, we took your heat. We look hit in red, too full of Glocks and big boy ARPs. All these things green before those, we fill them up with lean.
Caesar on the C notes, and making music made me lose it. I hope C notes. And pain and strife pull out my life, been chasing C-Lo. But when I make it out, just know I came from zero. A superhero, you see Caesar on the C notes, and making music made me lose it. I hope C notes. And pain and strife pull out my life, been chasing C-Lo. But when I make it out, just know I came from zero. A superhero.
Just woke up and cracked myself, ain't even brush my teeth. I was just a piss and now I walk on 33. Oh my God. Dark all my shades, I fell in love with getting geek. My brother said he master switch, bought some back of Glee. My young nigga shoot at the roof, feel like a y'all discriminate team. Might give her a wedding ring, fell in love with lean. Think I'm on some rough that shit, tomorrow let mess my jeans. Only twins just back to back, line for lean.
No, we all been double crossed, I got that sauce like Tapatio. Just went back to back, I pack a bag and then put on the P-code. I got fatted jackets, flashing mags and rounds to help me reload. I got brothers toting switches, but them switches been illegal. Ain't no bosses, ain't no sequels, about my business like I'm regal. I'm with y'all, but they say Jesus, I don't hear speak no evil. In that water, ain't no drowning, nigga deep like finding Nemo. All my life been taking chances, spent them nights in them casinos.
All my life I came from zero, so crippin' ain't no hero. Hit your block, it's me and Gene, ain't missing shots, it's like a free throw. If you run and trip, don't move, it's over with, this shit get leaked. If I'm dead, I'm in your pockets, grabbing coins like a casino.
Caesar on the C notes, and making music made me lose it. I hope C notes. And pain and strife pull out my life, been chasing C-Lo. But when I make it out, just know I came from zero. A superhero, you see Caesar on the C notes, and making music made me lose it. I hope C notes. And pain and strife pull out my life, been chasing C-Lo. But when I make it out, just know I came from zero. A superhero.
Wait, tattoos all on my face. Hey, I can see in their face. I know I'm pop, we know you not. Joker, gang, you hear the lie.
You say you gang, but we don't know your name. We been had the clout, we been had the fame. We been getting money, we making it rain. This here no joke, we don't need a scope. Everyone talking, but we never broke. I carry the weapon when I go outside, man, don't try to provoke. You go down like a slope. Wait. We got tats on our face, we got straps on our waist. Getting money, we straight. I know they hating, I know they plotting. I let them all watch. Can't ever do what we do. I put my paint in tattoos.
Wait, tattoos all on my face. Hey, I can see in their face. I know I'm pop, we know you not. Joker, gang. You hear the lie. I make it spin like the wheel. I really been in the field. Money, no chill. Get on the beat and I drill. All of us ready to kill. Drum on the key for the thrill. I get it straight out the seal. I don't give a fuck how you feel. I've been outside, that's for real. I get it straight out the seal. I don't give a fuck how you feel. I've been outside. Inside, you don't know how I feel. I'm ready for war. I got the Drake, I'm ready to pop. You staring at me cause I know I got face tattoos.
My name is Derrick Williams. I'm the young black farmer out of Georgia whose life was catastrophically flipped upside down by the brutal might of injustice. I'm the young black farmer that believes that no matter who you are, you had a right to pursue your dream. My dream just so happened to be to connect humans and animals in a symbiotic relationship, promoting conservation, education, and animal therapy initiatives was my farm and ministry purpose. I would find myself being kicked off my land for over 2 years now. I find myself being convicted of stalking a chief magistrate court judge that I've never spoken to outside of court or ever seen outside of court before. My animals were stolen, slaughtered, and rehomed against my will on the land that I own. People that I thought was there to help us and the gifts that they gave to further the ministry were mingled in deceit and corruption. I'll never stop telling the story. Help.
This gentleman is trespassing on my property, causing havoc and harassing me in my situations here. Tag plate, individual, Mr. Hardy, leave this property now.
Man, this is no joke, is it?
Man, I tell you what. You know what I mean? First off, let's tell everybody what's up. Thank y'all
What up,
for coming.
though? Look at your shirt. What up, though?
So you got me, AB, Archbishop Whooper Center, and you got Mike Ball, and together with a dominant effect.
That's right.
So tonight we got a man. This is a story. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how this story is, and we got Mr. Derrick Williams with us tonight, and he's gonna tell us his story. You know, this is the kind of story that you would probably watch on a movie and think that this was just some straight fictional type stuff. And
Right.
And this is very, very real. And it's sad. It's sad.
It gets
almost,
super deep too.
Right. And as
if it's not deep already.
Right. You know, so as we get into this, you're gonna see that it's multiple layers to this. You know what I mean? This man been battling for 2 years to get his land back that was taken from him. You know, his name's on the paperwork. He owns this land dead to right. It belongs to him. And he can't step foot on it. So without further ado, let's get Mr. Williamson on here.
Yes, sir. Mr.
What's up?
Williamson, what's going down? We're gonna give it big.
Appreciate it. Hey guys, appreciate y'all having me on. How's everybody doing?
Man, we're doing fantastic, brother. But you know, on the other hand, like I said, I've been doing this research since I talked to you last week, and I'm telling you, this is it's outrageous on numerous levels. You know, it's kind of when I looked at the stuff and when I looked at your videos, and then I talked to you, and then you sent me the links to look at all those pictures and stuff that you had sent. It tells the story,
Yeah.
but then the story has a plot twist because let me tell you what I mean by that. So in the pictures that he sent the other day, it showed these people that we're talking about right now, like they were all like really good friends. You know, he's in every picture. Everybody's smiling. You know, they they got like the little baby and the animals and everything like that. And they all look like that they were just like a genuine happy family.
Yeah.
But there's a twist to it. And it's the twist part that's crazy. I mean, it is outlandish. So to kind of catch people up as to what's going on here, like I said, you have Derrick Williamson, who's a 28-year-old farmer in Georgia. He has his farmland, which also served as a animal sanctuary. He had various animals, numerous animals there, water buffalo. I seen kangaroos there. He had a sloth there. I mean, he's going to tell you about everything that he had there. And having a good heart, it seems like, came back to bite him in the ass because he invited this family in. And this family kind of took advantage. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So it's really like a David and Goliath story because it goes further than the family.
Right.
Because now you got to involve the law enforcement, the judges, and everything else that done took place because it's people that should be there to help him, which I know a lot of you sitting here right now is like, okay, so did he call the police? Did he take him to court? Yeah, he did all that. He's still fighting for his land. Okay? So we're going to get to all of that here in just a minute. So my first question to you, Derrick, is how did you get to know these people? Where did you meet them from? And how is it that they ended up living on your land?
Yeah, those are some good questions. I met the Hardy family initially because I have an extensive background in community work, making a difference in people's lives at ground level. At that time, I happened to be the director of one of the biggest food banks in the region. So, if I'm correct, that year we served over 32,000 families, and I also was a director of many other nonprofit outreaches. And the Hardy family, through faith-based context, they started just serving and coming and volunteering at the different venues and just being very, very involved. And then they were very generous to the organization, to the ministries. They helped a lot of people. So I mean, and so they stood out in that regard because they were usually the first ones there and the last ones to leave. So and anybody that operates on nonprofits and food banks and homeless outreaches, you look for those dedicated volunteers that are going to be loyal and be faithful to help you complete the mission and help serve the people. So initially, that's how we all came into contact with each other, just through ministry. They just were volunteers, were helping, and they just began to do more and more and more and help more and more. And then over time, they began to get a lot closer to me personally, because all the time that we spend in the community. And in Jordan Hardy, you'll see in the video, some of the videos, one of the videos, my brother lost his life earlier that day. And I was there seeing it on scene, seeing his body on scene. And it was a really difficult day for me because I lost my best friend, my biggest supporter, and someone that goes to court with me. So that was really hard for me. And that night when I went home, we saw the video of them breaking through my doorway, breaking into my bedroom, saying my brother's in hell, he's dead, all these things. It's just hours after I just watched my brother's lifeless body. So how can you say this to me? And despite anything. So the bottom line is that young lady, Jordan Hardy, had a substance abuse problem. She was on hard drugs, and her mom came to me and was like, "Hey, Derrick, Jordan has a lot of respect for you. She looks up to you. She has a lot of respect for you. She sees all the things that you do. You're one of the few people that I believe can reach her. Can you take some time to spend some time with her and do some faith-based counseling with her and kind of try to figure out if you can help her try to get into sobriety?" So, and I told her, I said, hey, this really busy, things are crazy, but, at the least I can, as much as y'all have contributed and help this ministry, then let's figure it out. So I started meeting with her once a week, and, we started, deep diving and figuring out the cores of why things were, why was, she capsulated in substance abuse as as an outlet versus dealing with issues. And we worked through it. It took several months, but several months later, she came into full sobriety. So we were really happy about that. And so it was great. She got off, she came in sobriety, got off drugs, started serving, helping just even more. And then this is where it gets interesting, where people say, well, how'd you, I get that whole part, but then how they end up in your home? And it's because Jordan Hardy ended up having she was doing great. She came into sobriety, but then when she got into sobriety sometime later, she had a hiccup. She ended up having an unplanned pregnancy. And then for this unplanned pregnancy, her father, you see in the videos, you can tell he's not the most cordial, the most nicest individual you're gonna meet. And he had it clear in his mind that his child would be terminated. It was not optional. He told her very clearly, like, this child will be terminated. And she lived, obviously lived with Janet and her mom and her dad, Janet and James Hardy. She lived with them. And her mom and her came to me. I was at my desk one day at the food bank, and they came to me, and I can tell the look on their face like, man, something's going on. I asked them, hey, so what's up? What's happening? And then they began to let me know the situation. And Janet actually told it to me first. And she's just like, yeah, Jordan's been doing so good, but she had an unplanned pregnancy and it's not supposed to happen, but it did. And her father is saying that the child must be terminated and that he's making appointments and he's going to do it and have it done. And Jordan can't do it, and I looked at Jordan and Jordan began to explain to him. She started breaking down. I can't do this. I just can't. I feel like I just can't I can't go this route and live with it. And that was her perspective, her faith context. And I understood that. So we talked a while and I was like, what are the options? We looked through options. They were like, Derrick, we don't know a lot of people in this area. We keep to ourselves for the most part. We're involved in ministry. This is our family, so to speak. And I understood that. And so what we came up with is this. I said, I'm not the biggest fan of this at all. Okay. But in order to save the child's life, I'll get involved. And James Hardy told them that if she kept the child, then they would have to, they couldn't stay in the home anymore. And granted, we know how that works. Of course, they could have stayed in the home, but the pressure that he would unleash and the anxiety and the things that he would do to them in the home would be enough to potentially miscarriage the child. Easily. So that was not an option. So therefore, I told them, as I said, I'm not a big fan of this because I know the way it looks and everything like that. But in order to save the child's life, I'm going to get involved. I'll have extra bedrooms in my home. I have 2 extra bedrooms, that are side by side by each other. I said, Janet, you are going to have to transition as well because I'm not in a position to, to help or deal with the child in this capacity with everything I've going on. But what I can do is I can provide y'all a safe environment, something that's familiar. And also, Janet needed help with Jordan still because Jordan, she didn't know Janet, we needed help with that a little bit more structural support with Jordan. So we said it'll be a good thing. We've known each other for years, and so that's how they came into the home. I invited them in because they were in need. They said they did not have options, and in order to save the child's life, and so my heartstrings got pulled.
Yeah.
So during the time, okay, now you let's go back for a second. You was talking about your the death of your brother. My condolences to you on that. If I'm not mistaken, he was in a motorcycle accident, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So the video that you done dealing with that, where they were, talking about your brother, was she on drugs at that time, or was she already through and was on the mend?
She, according to my knowledge, she was in sobriety still at that time. She was still in sobriety, especially with the child being there and everything. She was in sobriety, to my knowledge.
Okay, so I'm gonna let them watch this video right quick. Because I want you guys to listen to the words that's being said. Now, put yourself in the mind frame of this man here. Now, he lost his brother. Was it that day?
That same day. It was that morning. Yeah, it was around about 1 o'clock that day.
Exactly. Yeah. That very day, he lost his brother. Yeah. And this is what was told to him. I want y'all to check this out.
Wanted it. Chris Key would have wanted it. What happened to him?
You're pushing me. Why are you talking about my dead brother? Stupid. It's just stupid.
What happened to him. Chris Key would not like this of you. He was saying making a mistake.
Man, I'm telling you. Keep my brother's name out your mouth!
Tell me to one more time.
Keep his name out your mouth!
Jordan, stop! What are you going to do about it? He's dead anyways.
You're not going to disrespect my dead brother. You're not going to disrespect my dead brother.
Jordan, stop. Is that a threat? Because I will if I have to. Chris Key is dead and there's nothing you can do about it. He's dead. He's gone. He's probably in hell.
Let me walk away before let me. Stay away from me. I'm warning you. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. I'm not going to tell you again. Stay away from me.
Chris Key would have hated you.
Stay away from me.
Chris Key hates you. He's dead. He's probably in hell. He's probably shut the fuck up. He almost hit me because Chris Key would have wanted it. Chris Key wants you to punch me in the face. Shut the fuck up.
My brother died today, you stupid. Oh my God.
Your brother's dead.
Get away from me.
Chris Key died.
Get away me!
Get out of my house!
Get away from me!
Get out of my house! Chris Keeweb hated you! He hates you! He's dead!
You what, folks?
He's in hell! He's in hell!
Do not come through my doorway! Do not come through this doorway! Get away! Get away from my door! Get away from my door! No! Get away from my door! Get away from my door! Get off me! Get off me! Get off me!
Chris, he's dead. He's not coming to life. He's dead.
Get away from me!
I just want to be very pointed that Judge Holt has advised that she is not, and will not entertain you all pressing charges against Jordan Hardy tonight for the matter that I called you out for.
Not tonight. Like I said, in my definition, it's going to fit perfectly because she was fine. I mean, that video is what, 10, 15 minutes long?
Okay.
So obviously the antagonist the whole time. There was a point where there was some shoving going on that would have never happened had she not kept on and kept on.
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight that's a no-go for me, but it's not over yet.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I know that was kind of hard for you to watch, brother. You know,
that's hard for me to watch, and I wasn't there.
Yeah, being the fact that he's talking about your brother and whatnot.
Yeah.
Can you not hear him? Hold on, he can't hear you.
Let's go and remove him. Let's see if this will do it. Hold on. And bring it back. And then unmute it. Can't have him unmute it because he can't hear me.
Yeah, I think he got it. I think he has it muted on his side.
Yeah, he does have it muted, but you've got to say it because he can only hear you.
Oh, I can hear it. I think I'm
there we go. Okay.
Boy, that was a little difficult, but yeah, okay.
That's hard for me to watch, and I wasn't even there. So that's what's this is heavy, man. This goes beyond.
Okay, and then when you did call the authorities, basically they said that was a civil matter. They weren't going to do nothing about it anyway, correct?
Well, essentially, when I called, I've had called the police several times up until that point, but finally, out of an entire department, there was one officer that tried to be just, and he saw that I had video evidence, everything was there. He told me when he walked out of my bedroom, he said he was going to charge, and he was going to charge and arrest, and he made it clear. He would leave out of my bedroom and he would come back sometime later, and be mindful, this is probably like at 10, 11 o'clock at night, it's around about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And he would come back and tell me that he cannot charge. He said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Williams," and he heard the video. He says it's sufficient evidence to charge, but the judge got involved and said he cannot charge, even though he is an officer with probable cause, and it's clear. She said he cannot charge. And this is a judge that was originally keeping me off my land, and she did that to further harm me more because my big brother would always go to court with me, and she knew my big brother very well. He's my biggest supporter. Obviously, he wasn't the biggest fan of her. He never said anything to her, but him being there as my support, it's in order for the county to allegedly harm me more. They made sure that was the most vile, the most horrible thing they could do in the midst of my brother losing his life. And for him to have no justice, for me and him to have no justice for that situation, it was just another one of their ploys to further mentally break me. And later that night, James Hardy would come after that happened. And that night, I lose my brother earlier that day. This situation happens, and because this situation happens, it'll be just a little bit later in the night, maybe with an hour or two later, that James Hardy comes onto my property the same day. And you see the videos of him vandalizing he went out there, he loosened the bolts of my transmission to cut my brake lines, destroyed my truck that night, came in, assaulted me. As you've seen the videos, there's been several altercations. It's been many altercations. But on this in particular altercation, it was the worst one that I had with him. And I was bruised up pretty bad. I mean, I'm not super, super light skinned, and I don't bruise easily, but you can say I have my whole side of my face bruised up, my neck, across my chest, my arms, it's pretty bad. And that same officer that tried to charge Jordan that a little like a couple hours before, he happened to be the same officer to come back and respond when I called that time. So lo and behold, the judge interferes again. Okay. And pretty much was like the officer cannot charge, but the officer goes back and forth with the judge and let the judge know. I'm looking at this young man bruises. It's evident, apparent bruises all over this young man. I have to charge. And then the judge says, okay, this is what we're going to do. You are not allowed to charge with simple battery, but I will allow you to charge him, James Hardy, dad, with simple assault. And it says it's in the police report. And I didn't understand at the time. Wasn't very versed in criminal law. But to those of you that understand what happened, it was major. Because simple battery is the physical act of carrying out violence on someone, physically causing harm and carrying out the act of violence. Simple assault is when you just threaten to do that. There's been no contact, okay? So what she did was all of my injuries that I sustained and all that, she made it account for nothing and just chalked it up to he threatened Mr. Williamson, which are much lesser charges and much lesser crime done that night, all on the day of my brother's passing.
Wow.
After midnight, almost. Yep.
So is that when Mr. Hardy, is that when he actually started staying there at the residence? Because he wasn't staying there at first, correct? He
was there before then. I had already been kicked out of my home about half a year, a little over half a year at that time. So we've already been through this a million times, and we've already been through this a million times already. This was we're a little over half a year since I've been removed from my home. And he was removed. Yeah, he was not there during that time either. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know if he was there or not during that time. But when I came home that night, he was definitely there.
Okay. Explain to everyone how exactly you were through off of your property. Like, how were they able to do that?
Right.
Yeah, very strategic, and it's very strategic. As you all may know or may not know by now, but my company, the deed is not even in the personal name; it's in my company's name, the Way Dynamic Animal Therapy Encounters. So the ministry owns the land, and I am the 100% shareholder. That means I own all 100,000 shares in stock. Not one individual on this planet owns one share out of 100,000. I own all of them, which means I have full authority and power and govern and full governance of everything there of the company. And I'm also the founder and CEO. So and the deed holder. So they had no legal ground to remove me to do anything. There was nothing there. They had not even the slightest iota of leverage because everything was airtight corporately. So what they did was, I have a video that's on my page of me being assaulted again on my page. And I left my home in an ambulance that day because my shoulder got messed up in the altercation. I drive a big truck, so I couldn't get to the hospital. I couldn't drive myself and pull myself up and drive with my shoulder messed up. So I had to leave an ambulance. That day, with video evidence, the judge, the law enforcement, and said, I told them I want to press charges and so forth. They said, no, we're not going to press charges or anything like that. We're just going to let the judge figure it out. We'll let it go before the judge. So this same judge that interfered, that did all this stuff, now I got to go before this judge, and it was called a stay away bond. Pretty much to kick somebody out of the house, a hearing. I would go to that hearing. They broke into my bedroom. They dismantled my cameras. As the other video showed, they don't mind coming in my personal bedroom. Big as my property is, I have my own wing all the way over there. It's like, and they came out of their way to come in my bedroom. They broke the cameras down. I have video evidence. You see it on my page. I'm just dismantling my bedroom cameras. I took it to court. Had the deed to the property. I took it to court. Had corporate documents. I took it to court. I had all the harassment videos, and because my shoulder was injured in that altercation, I was actually in an arm sling at court with medical records showing I had disability from work. I couldn't go to work for a couple months because I was in physical therapy and I had to do the repair because I had to do some work to my shoulder. So I brought all that to court, and the judge, and something interesting happened. The Hardy family, and me being the victim, and with the video evidence, the judge made it clear. She said, I tried to show her evidence and all this stuff. She said, I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see none of that. I'm not looking at any of that. I'm not looking at it. And she didn't want to see it. But then she said two things that stood out. She said, you own all this in my county and I not know about it? I was like, in my head, I'm like, you mean our county? But, you know, okay, whatever. Didn't say anything. So what the Hardy family did to get me off my land was, although there's video evidence, I had all the evidence in court, then they flipped it on me. The women testified against me and said that I assaulted them. So I was accused of assaulting 2 white women at their testimony with the video. Granted, the video evidence there. The judge, he's what they said. Listen to them. And internally, she removed me off the land. And technically, she placed me under arrest, though, but it was a bond. She allowed us to sign for, sign for bond that day. So she let me sign. But she pretty much, she kicked me off the land and gave it to them. And I told her, and at first she said, you're not allowed on that property at all. And I said, you can't do this. It's not fair. This is corporate property. I own everything on this land, including every piece of furniture, every fence, everything is in corporate, is my corporation's name. I own everything. I said, I have exotic animals like water buffaloes and animals that are very dangerous that can harm people without proper care. These people know nothing about the care of wildlife and animals. So you cannot remove me from my land. And she said, all right, she said, fine, that's what I'll do. You're not allowed to go back in your home anymore. You stay out of your home. You can't go in there anymore, except you can take a police escort and get all of your things out of the home, and you're not allowed back in that home for 6 months, or until you win your lawsuit until a judge decides, are you going to still remain the owner of that land? And she said, if you violate my orders, you'll spend time in my jail. And she made it clear. So that's how I was initially kicked out of my home. And they were able to keep the land. The judge made it clear I'm not allowed to be on the land except for the care for the animals only. And, in that regard, that was it. Nothing else was allowed, where I'll be in contempt of court.
Okay, so you could go there and take care of your animals, but you could not go in your house.
No.
And you were charged, but they had no evidence against you.
Yes. And she didn't allow me to cross-examine even one of the witnesses, one of the Hardy girls. They didn't even let me cross-examine her because, they were lying. They were switching up their story. I mean, all this kind of stuff. But it was very clear that there was a bias that was there, and they knew. And then they were aware. They had more insight and more dealings in the county than I did in the judicial system than I did or knew, and that was made evident. That judge will later on have to recuse herself for a conflict of interest down the road, though, but that's not before all the damage had been done. Eventually later on, the judge wouldn't allow me on my land. She kept on saying that I'm not the owner in court. Granted, the deed is filed in her county. You're a judge. The deed is filed in your court system. So what's going on. And it's clear. I mean, I bought a copy for you, sealed copy, just so you can have that, but what's going on. It'd be, I served the time. I was kicked off my land for a little over a year at that time, maybe. And I find the Superior Court in Rockdale County finally ruled, because the court case was in a neighboring county because that's where it was originally filed. And so the Superior Court judge finally gave me a ruling for my animal family. He said he denied the Hardys on every front. He denied to set my deed aside. He denied the claim of $1.5 million. He did all that. He denied everything. They lost. It was 100% loss on their end. I waited a long time for that ruling, and I finally thought it was all over. So my attorneys, we got that ruling from the Superior Court. Now it's over. It's been done. It's settled. There's no more. I've already, and pretty much all the documents said is that I've never lost ownership. I've always been the owner, still am the owner. So that's never been the question. It was just the court has had to uphold my ownership for whatever reason. We got that document. We went back before that same judge, and I went to go evict them off the property with an attorney. And we provided the court. My attorney was very clear. My attorney told the judge, this is a Superior Court ruling from the Superior Court, and this is a Chief Magistrate Court, so it's a lower court. This is a Superior Court ruling that you've asked for, that this court has been over a year almost pending. Now it's here. Mr. Williamson moves on behalf of his company to evict this entire Hardy family off of his property, effective immediately. The judge said, interesting. Isn't there another case filed against him? I knew nothing of another case at that time. And so she looks over at Janet's lawyer. The judge looks over at Janet's lawyer, and we both look at the lawyer over there too. Me and my attorney, like, what? And then attorney stands, oh, yes. We just filed against him. And here in Morgan County, we just filed a lawsuit against him. So then, can you receive this? Her attorney asked my attorney to receive this notice. And my attorney's like, wait. This is not formal. This is not how you serve someone. You don't come in the middle of a trial and present another case in the middle of a trial that's for something else. My attorney was really respectful, and she's like, if I do this, if I don't accept this in front of you, your honor, judge, like, I don't want you to make a ruling against my client because I'm refusing to break protocol and accept this and, to be nice or whatever. That's not fair. And then my attorney said, but you know what? Why is it that you know about this and myself nor my client know about this? And then the attorney yelled objection. He stood up and said, hey, you can't say that. You can't insinuate that. My attorney threw her hands up. She said, you know what? I digress. So she didn't want to get in that with the judge. The judge laughs. The judge just laughs, and she said, and she's pretty much like, the judge laughs and it's pretty much, how dare she say something like that about me? And bottom line, something interesting happens with the Superior Court ruling. That Chief Magistrate Court judge, she flips it again, right? So now me as a corporate owner of that property, she tells me you're not allowed in your home. And now you're not allowed on your property with your animals either. I'm kicking you off the land altogether. When I went to evict them with a Superior Court ruling. So she denied a higher court's ruling to further hurt me more. And the thing about it this time was I had animals there, and I couldn't the whole animal argument that I made before that, listen, my animals there, my water buffaloes, they need me. I train, these are massive animals that must be that have proper care. And plus they were getting to the point that, they were getting to that musk age, that age to where, they're being, young adults, teenagers, and there's some things that happen during that time. So they have to be checked on certain behaviors and have to be trained to do certain things. And bottom line, she didn't heed it at all. And I told, initially when I was first kicked out of my home, I provided a court document with almost 60 pages. Plus, the Hardy family owns over 60 plus properties. And I bought that Liz Penance to court because I was in a lawsuit. So they have to disclose this information. I bought that to court, and I showed the judge. I said, they have over 60 properties to go to. I have one. They can go to one in 60. The judge, she denied it and refused to allow it to happen. So bottom line is, after this, so the second time, she not only kicked me out of my home, then that day with the Superior Court ruling, she then kicked me off my land and left my animals vulnerable. My neighbors are trying to help me take care of them as best they can, being kicked off the land. But the Hardy family knew that I couldn't come on land anymore because I would come at different times and be with animals different times just so I can protect them and make sure they know that there's a presence still there. And sure enough, it'll be that next week that another zoo owner that's local in the area that I received information. She moved 8 miles from from my farm, and who I used to be a business partner with. She's the reason I opened the Nicole Canoy is her name. She's where I initially joined her wildlife rescue and zoo to learn animals and do all. That's where I got a lot of my training from. And we're supposed to be partners, and that didn't work out. And that's why I opened my own company. Turns out, after they found out that I was kicked off my land and couldn't come back, my former business partner, Nicole Canoy, teamed up with the Hardys, and they stole the rest of the animals off their property. And the buffalo it was reported to me that my buffalo had been slaughtered. And I found out through the Nicole Canoy's Facebook that my animals were sold to, some of them were sold to other zoos. And that's confirmed. That's all of my pages there. And it was just a lot, man. That's when I lost the last part of my animal family off the land.
Oh, wow.
And that's where we're at to this day.
Well, it seems like I'm just gonna be frank about it. Bullshit. Because you have a couple things. Number one, how the hell does the magistrate decide that she gonna overrule a Superior Court justice ruling? And even after she done that, why wasn't anything done about that by her not adhering to the ruling?
Right.
You know what I mean? So then the second part is, how is it that she knew about this lawsuit and nobody else knew about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of like it's some conspiracy things going on there too. But you kind of figure this part out too, which kind of I'm gonna let the people know about this as well, is that this magistrate does not hold a law degree. No. This magistrate used to be a hairdresser before she became the magistrate. So you know how, you sitting at the beauty parlor and y'all sitting there talking and shooting the shit and telling everybody business or whatever. That's what she used to do. Now she's over here at the courthouse being a magistrate. So
yeah,
I don't know how that's even possible, that you take someone without a law degree and make them a magistrate, and then this magistrate turns around and doesn't adhere to a Superior Court ruling.
Yeah.
Then nothing happens on that end. You got the ruling sitting in front of you telling you, I got my land back. give me my shit. You in turn take it to where I can't even go to my house.
Yeah.
You got these people here that's basically shacking up in my shit.
Yeah.
For however long that they've been sitting there shacking up. You know what I mean? And it's cool. And these people own 60 other properties. Why would you want to live in my house? When you can go to all these other places. Why would you want to live here? You know what I mean? Thing is though, if they had all those properties, why the fuck did you come to my house in the first place?
In the very first place. Exactly.
Why did you come in the first place? You know what I mean? Now mind you, okay, I'm being cool with the girl or whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm being cool with you. I mean, but if I knew that they had property like that,
Right.
you know what I mean? Ain't no way in hell.
And I didn't know about their finances and stuff like that. I didn't really know about a whole too deep into all that stuff into the case. Then it all had to be disclosed in the case. And so therefore I learned about the financial part of it later down the line. I was not abreast of all of that. And what you said about how can nothing be done. So actually, my water buffalo, my animals were stolen from the property and I had been kicked off the land. That was the last part of my heart after I've lost my land, my animals, my brother. I had 160 animals on the facility up into, that was not the Kanoy Hardy's first step. If you back in some months prior to that, they broke on the Nicole Kanoy in conspiracy with the Hardys broke onto my property. They stole over $100,000 worth of all my panels, to build it for the primates and for the different animals, for all my different exotic animals. They stole all of their fencing that I had shipped here from California. They stole all my cages, my expensive cages, avian or bird cages. They stole a lot of stuff, and I reported it and all this stuff like that. Nothing happened, of course. So when nothing happened that time, they came back and struck again after this ruling. But this is where it gets a little bit interesting, y'all. After this, a chief magistrate court judge denies a superior court ruling and reverses it on me and does the opposite of what I asked and removed me from my land that day. When we weren't even there to talk about kicking me off the land. That's not even what we were there to talk about. It was an eviction of them. If they wanted me kicked off, there had to be some type of filing for that. We're not going to get into that. Something happens. That was my breaking point. Okay. Once that happened, and I was like, man, my attorney said, hey, we have to figure this out. We gotta work through this. So that next week, I received a call, and the team, the team that takes care of the animals, my neighbors that take care of animals, like they call me in tears. Derrick, I don't know what to say. It's happened. The gate's open. This track's coming out of the gate. All the animals are gone. They've been stolen. Everything's gone. And I'm flipping out. I'm like, no, that's the last part of my animal family I got. That's not, except I have Ezra, which is an albino wallaby that I pay the zoo every month to take care of. But my water buffalo are special to me. And I had access to them after my brother's passing. And we grew even closer. My animals, we grew very closer. My cows, my circada tortoise, and we grew close. When I received that news, I got it. And despite I didn't care about no ruling, about no order, about none of that. They destroyed my truck. So I had another vehicle. And I got in my vehicle and I started driving down and I was in panic. I was hurt. Like, no, you can't take, that's all I got left. I've lost so much. I can't lose them. And I ended up getting into an accident. And needless to say, I never made it down to my farm that day. But after that, it was reported my animals were stolen. And then I received reports that they had been slaughtered. After all that happened, it was the last part of me that I had that broke. And I finally I'm a very private person. Granted, I'm mega viral all over the internet now. I never wanted to be on the internet. I never liked my face being out there. It was about the animals. I debuted the animals, the ministry. When that happened, I created a social media. I took my injustice public. And I put the video we showed earlier. I posted it, ended up getting 6 million views on TikTok. The story started getting out there. So I was like, okay, I'll post another video of me getting assaulted. That video got over 13 million views, and then this wave began. So it turns out when I did that, right, the judge, because people start emailing the county, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Why are you doing this to him? She did something, and as we've been seeing, she did something incredibly crazy. She recused herself, saying that it was a conflict of interest. But then she went upstairs to her friend, the Superior Court judge, and she took out a stalking charge against me. And when she took out a stalking charge against me, her friend signed off on it without any evidence, without any proof. She signed off on it, and I was not aware of this. So, and they wanted me to pretty much to stop telling the story, to take my First Amendment right away. They didn't want me to keep on telling the story because it's exposing the corruption in the county, and they didn't want me to stop. So they issued that against me. I did not know. And then I let my attorney know that my neighbors told me that there was a bunch of unmarked vehicles and squad cars were like pretty much almost like SWAT people came to the property, but I wasn't here, and they told me about it and they left a notice. And I asked my attorney what the notice was, and they told me to go. We look at it, we'll see what it is. And turns out it was a stalking order from the judge. And so she stepped down. She's still the chief magistrate court judge. She stepped down out of my case and then stepped into a direct assault personally against me, a citizen, personally as an elected official. And needless to say, I found they found me guilty. I'll have to go to trial. My attorneys, we prepped for court. We prepped. It was like, it's not going to be a big deal. There's no evidence. I've never been in trouble. I've never I've never stalked. That's crazy. I've never seen this woman outside of court. I never spoken to her. So, they have nothing on me. We go to court. And then her friend rules. Her friend, the Superior Court Judge, Judge Stephen Bradley, is also the judge now that presides over my land today. And needless to say, with all the evidence in the world, the judge lied on me, saying I broke into her private chambers, all kind of stuff. My attorney spewed at her up and down, and you can go to my website, helptheark.org, and read through that court proceeding that day, and you'll see, man, I ended up losing. So the judge he made a statement before he found me guilty. He said, if someone creates a track record and paints a picture of themselves, you have to agree with me. They will be seen in that light. And he proceeded to find me guilty of stalking his counterpart, the chief magistrate court judge. And then he gave me the maximum order in Georgia and told me I'm not allowed to go anywhere inside of the courthouse until he rules on my property. So I can't even go file documents in the courthouse anymore because I'm restrained from the courts now, except when they try to take my land cases or the cases. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It just gets deeper and deeper.
Right. I'm trying to figure out, man, how the hell you keep filing charges on me and you don't got no proof?
Yeah, whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? With actual evidence.
Right. Whatever happened to falsifying statements of anything?
Right.
That's some of the craziest shit ever. But when you was talking about your animals.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a couple of those videos, and I'm getting ready to play 2 of them. One of them is about the conspiracy when they took your animals. There was other 2 organizations that was actually working with you that conspired against you to take your animals. Kind of like after they got you out the way, then they're like, okay, let me get his animal. But the first one that I want to show y'all is I've never seen this part here before. These animals, watch how these animals.
You gonna play the next one right back to back?
Yeah, let me play this other one here. I want to see this too.
Nothing on this property that belongs to you. Get in that vehicle and leave. Nicole Canoy, CEO of Animals on Set and Wildlife Critters, worked in conspiracy with the Hardys to steal my animals off my land. This TikTok shows evidence. My Georgia import ownership document for my stolen Rees birds, aka proof of sole ownership. Nicole Canoy also stole all company animal enclosure fencing and used it to build up her facility, taking our future and expansion ability. Proof of ownership here. I had to fly to California to personally help load up all our fencing, and this lady's dog chose to sit with me versus her for the flight. Great family and great business. I personally helped put the sweat in to load up all our fencing for transport home to our farm.
Drop, gentlemen.
We push it for you.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Huh? Oh, gosh. Okay. That makes it
Was indeed a lot of work, but knew it was worth it, as these panels would provide the home for many animals to come.
Hold on, gentlemen. We're gonna do it. We almost did. We just got to guide it. We just got to guide it, so it's okay. We got it. Right there. Here we go.
Forklift would have been great, but we made it work.
We got to readjust one more time. Let's see. A little bit more. Gotta go. We're good. Yeah, we're good.
They stole several $1,000s worth of all my fencing, stripped, gone. All of it is here, gone. They stole my big cages, my big cockatiel cages and commercial grade cages. All of them gone. Stolen.
Nicole used my company's stolen fence for her own animals. Called police from roadway after seeing my animals on her property from road. They didn't help at all. Nicole Canoy and the Hardys got away with first theft in March 2022, so they struck again February 2023, except this time Samson, Goliath, Tyson, Jafari, Teddy, Jasper and Turk all stolen directly off the farm by Nicole in conspiracy with the Hardys.
Those are your friends. Yeah.
To this day I don't know where my water buffalo are, but I won't stop till I find them.
Tyson, no. Everybody, we really need you all to donate and support because it takes a lot to do what we do here. These are some really amazing animals, but it takes a lot of training, a lot of work, and there's a lot. But, you know, we love what we do here. So please donate, please like, share. And remember, here at the Way Dynamic Animal Therapy Encounters and Paramount Wildlife, we love you.
Nicole Canoy may have portrayed to be a wildlife hero, but unfortunately her corruption runs deep. We used to be business partners, but things didn't work out because my integrity wouldn't allow it. So resigned and opened my own company. Thanks to the power of social media, Teddy has been found. Nicole sold Teddy to a zoo in Florida for $3,500. Zoo owner is nice guy, and although I have to pay what the zoo paid, I can get him back at least. Unfortunately, we have no home, being judges won't allow us on our own land. We plan to go see Teddy soon. All the stolen animals, proofs of ownership documents. Nicole Canoy, where are my animals?
Damn it, man.
So you got documentation for every animal that you had on your farm. Your name, they belong to you. How were they able to sell these animals? Right up, right from up under you. How were they able to do that?
They had, in my case, I'm up against 4 judges, an entire police department, and a millionaire family. And then now her is another millionaire family that's involved in this now. They've been able to maneuver. They move without regard for the law, In my case, the law is clear. This is not a people have made this case. You know, this case is not complicated. There's a deed holder, there's a company owner, and there's land. It's not hard. It's really easy, actually. But for whatever reason, because there's so much corruption, the corruption is what makes this case hard. And the laws that are for me, they're manipulating and creating and doing these things that are just illegal. It's just, I mean, you can't steal. You know, it's crazy to me how you can go to Walmart and this young black kid can go get caught stealing a T-shirt. Now he's in jail, but you can go steal $100,000 worth of fancy and exotic animals, and it takes my land, and there's no repercussion. Oh, that's not a big deal. But we can incarcerate this young man over here for stealing a T-shirt, not condoning theft at all. But at the same time, we see when these people have a certain type of privilege or certain type of influence, the game changes. And in my case, you know, a lot of times you hear crazy convoluted cases like this. Somebody forgot to fill out a document right. Somebody didn't do something right. They put them on the deed. They made mistakes and things like that. In my case, there's none of that. I learned, I mean, I may have made a lot of mistakes along the way, but the one thing I did learn up until this point was try to protect my animal family so this could not happen. And my case is not one of those cases where they had loopholes. There was no loopholes here. Now, my case, he put somebody else on the deed. Oh, the corporation, somebody else owned some of the shares. The animals had co-owners written on the documents. You know, it's none of that. It's clear. But they can't accept it just because of my skin. They won't accept it.
Wow. Papa Penguin had a comment on her and asked, had you filed a complaint with the Judicial Qualifications Commission about the magistrate?
That's a great question. So I actually filed complaints on all 4 judges. There's a circuit court that is mobilized against me. So multiple judges. Every judge that is mobilized against me, I filed a complaint with the Judicial Qualification Commission. Dr. Veal is the head over the Judicial Qualification Commission, right? Something interesting happened. And, you know, this case has been going on for years. So it's a lot of documents, all the police reports, all these stuff, transcript. I sent their attorneys and that staff a lot of content and let them know that there's mega publicity on it. Dr. Veal does something interesting. She personally dismisses my complaint and says with her dismissal, eviction needs to be taken up in the appellate courts. You know, and I'm like, wait. I said, wait. So first and foremost, you didn't even let my case go before the discerning panel at the judicial qualification level, which should have happened. It should be the panel to discuss such a case of this magnitude with this much going on. And secondly, I explained to Dr. Veal, I said, Dr. Veal, my chief complaint, yes, I've been removed from my land, but okay, I get that part. But what about, I didn't even reach out necessarily because of that. I reached out because of interference with arrest. I'm found guilty of charges that I did not do. They took my Second Amendment right, my right to bear arms weight. I'm barred from going to a courthouse. Those are the things that I reached out with the misconduct that you gave no attention to. Dr. Veal responds back to me and pretty much that same day after the email and said, hey, I met with the panel. We discussed it and they agreed with me. Don't email me back anymore to my personal email. You need to go back and if you want information, go to the general mailbox. That's the last time I heard from Dr. Veal and from the Judicial Qualification Commission.
Now, did you have a lawyer at this time?
I did. I've had a lawyer the entire time. The only time I did not have a lawyer when it was the first time in court when with that first assault, and I went with all the disability documents, the cameras, and all stuff, and she kicked me out the first time. That's the only time I didn't have an attorney. But every other time I've had an attorney. But my attorney, I have a great attorney that she doesn't do. I'm looking for an attorney, a federal attorney that sues governments and does that kind of like holds them accountable, does a civil lawsuit side. My attorney is civil defense. And she's defended me up against, she's went to bat against the judge. She's doing all that. But the judges refuse. They're not operating in law. So therefore, when she presents case law and gives them case law and presents the facts, they disregard it. Or she files motions to let my venue change, they say no. So that's been the problem. It's, you know, that's been a problem in this case. This county refused. This county has so much pride, and they're one of the oldest judicial circuits. You know, that's one of the oldest judicial circuits in Georgia. And if you know a little bit about circuits, you'll know any judicial circuit that was formed before the 1960s, still, according to my understanding, still bore the same original corruption upon when the circuit, on the pretenses of how the circuit was constructed, if that makes sense. So any judicial circuit that has that much age on it and was incorporated before 1960. There was an ideology and there's a way of thinking, there's a way of ruling. And the Mogi circuit is one of the oldest circuits that still operate in that same integrity in what we've seen in my case very clearly.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it seems like that whole little group are in cahoots together.
Totally.
That whole little group of judges, you know what I mean? They're all in the same spot. Everybody know each other, you know what I mean? Because, you know, like, especially in a small town, you know, like a lot of people think that, okay, when you go to court, that your lawyer is going to do what they got to do, whatever. Not realizing that they all hang out together. They all play golf together. They go to parties together. They, you know what I mean? They're actually cool with each other. You know what I mean? And they make deals on the back end. You know what I mean? I know a couple lawyers that I know do that for a fact. You know, they make deals on the back end. You know what I mean? Like, I'll let this go if you let this go over here, or you help out my client on this end, and I'm gonna do this for yours on this end. You know what I mean? They make deals all the time.
They do. They make deals. It's hard to know who to trust. One thing that's interesting about my case as well, that, you know, the Morgan County was rated the number 4 most beautiful place to live in the United States. And there's something called tour de homes that happens where people come from all over out of the country every year to come tour this county, the tour of the county, because of its historic nature and things of that regard. So Morgan County has a lot of fluff, I guess. If a guy has a lot of, you know, they prestige is why they operate the way they operate. And plus a lot of very influential people, they decide to retire out there too. So you know, so therefore that all creates problems when it comes to their pride and what they feel they can do and what they can't do. They don't feel they've been stood up. Into my case, they have not been. The county, the people are scared. This chief magistrate court judge, she's been a chief magistrate court judge for over 28 years. So she's been in that office a long time, and nobody has ever run against her. Nobody won't even run against her. She wins 100% of the votes every single time, every voter. And I don't know why people, you know, I don't know. She's she's pretty decorated out there, and nobody won't even run against this judge, you know. And now you have me withstanding an entire judicial circuit, an entire police department, and multiple millionaire families, and essentially I'm by myself. I don't have all this support and all that. I have to get up every day and keep this fight alive and keep telling the story in the midst of the corruption and dismantling.
Wow. This is unreal. I mean, this seems like a fictional movie. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't make sense. So you got all of this stuff, and it's all hindering over this man's property. You know what I mean? It's not like he went and shacked up at somebody's spot and he, you know, and he just claiming like domain because didn't nobody live here, and I just came here and just shacked up in his mind. Like, this is mine. You know what I mean? Lock, stock, and barrel. Deeds in my name. This is my stuff. I mean, this is my property. You know what I mean? And they doing everything known to man to actually go against that. I mean, that's crazy to me. Now, you was on another show, Indisputable. I'm gonna play this little clip right here because this has actually made headline news, and still nothing has been done about this. So I'm gonna play this little snip right quick.
The authority to rule on that case at all. So bottom line, she moved against me and moved against the company when I went to law enforcement for help. So get this, when it comes to eviction, this is beyond me. Don't understand it in any sense of the way. I waited a long time. We waited a really, really long time to receive a verdict from the Superior Court. So I believe it was November of 2022 that the Honorable Judge Montfort, a Superior Court judge, ruled on this matter. And it was clear he denied everything they tried to come against me with, to set my deed aside, the claims of $1.5 million, all these things. He denied them on every front. It was 100% loss on their end. Okay. So after having a Superior Court ruling, right, with my attorneys, we went to file eviction on the parties, on all of the Hardys that are on my property. So in court, you know, having that Superior Court ruling, right, Judge Holt refused to acknowledge it. Okay. Janet's attorney said in court that day, the attorney said that there's been a new filing against you, you know, and Judge Holt's like, oh, really? A new filing has happened? And down here in Morgan County? And we were made aware, had no clue about this new lawsuit being filed, nothing about it, but I was made aware, my attorney was made aware in court. We had not been properly served or anything like that. But bottom line, Judge Holt refused to acknowledge a Superior Court ruling and denied me the eviction. And then the next week is when the Hardys and the Canoys will go steal the rest of the animals off the facility.
Now,
damn,
that was on national TV, okay? And still, this man is still fighting for his land.
Right.
Still, nobody came forward to say, okay, let me help you out. Let me, you know what I mean, at least come and let me show you what you need to do, whatever. You know what I mean? Because as you can see, apparently he's not going to get no justice in Morgan County. He's going to have to go. He's going to have to go somewhere. You know what I mean? He's going to have to go bigger. They're going to have to go to
way bigger
court in order to overrule these. Because as long as you keep it right there in that county, they just going to bunch up and keep it.
Yeah, they'll just keep tossing it around.
I mean, because Lord knows that you sitting there. And how much land is it?
40 acres.
God.
40.
This isn't even a house size, you know? This is 40 acres. Holy cow.
Right.
The home alone is valued at over $1 million. Just my home alone is valued at over $1 million, and that's not including the land. So the reason they're giving me such a hard time is the property is worth close to maybe a little over $3 million right now. And what's owed on the property is about $390,000 more dollars. An entire property will be paid off.
Right.
And I originally did it that way with the contributions. Went ahead and did it that way in case something ever happened and all support left. I'll be able to cover the mortgage and take care of the animals with whatever, like with life changes, a standard 9-to-5 job. Worst case scenario, and I could still be able to keep everything afloat into the right support systems were put back in place. That's why I chose not to spend more on building and spent more on principle to do this just in case anything ever happened.
Okay, now you did a march, back in January in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about that and the reason why you did this march, because it seems like just by listening to your story and watching these videos, it's like you did a total transformation personally. What I mean by that is like when you look at your pictures, you see that you are this friendly, fun-loving guy that loves his animals and loves his land. And then when you watch this video, you see someone that's fed up.
Yeah.
You know, like you had to morph into somebody else, you know, in order to, you know, keep your sanity. So,
and there's a lot of pain in that process, by the way.
Exactly. So we're gonna watch this right quick, and then I want you to let everybody know if you did have that change, because I know you did, whether you want to admit it or not. I know you did, and I want to hear it. So let me play this first, and then we're gonna come back to you. Just a second.
I stand for so many other farmers across the board. You guys have thought y'all have hurt me in so many ways. You guys raised up a champion. You see this face? You're going to get used to it because we're going to be standing against corruption in a lot of states real soon. So get ready for that. You will give me back my land and say to the officers that failed to do your job. I have no history of any violence or anything like that. I called you all to my farm to protect me and my animals. What did you do? When people had warrants for their arrest, you arrested me, and you took me to jail and took me from my home. Well, guess what? Now the world is beginning to see the corruption that you guys are doing. So stay focused. You guys made a warrior out here in these streets now. But now you're going to learn what it means. When you break constitutional law, when you deal with unbalanced scales and you do these things, everybody's not going to roll over and just let you do this. It's people like me that have to go through the sorrow and the pain of a situation. And then we got to stand up for so many other people that are not able to sit on this horse today with these organizations today. To those of you that are having your land stolen, black farmers across the nation, it's time that we come together. We're tracking on it. Do not give up. I know it feels hard going against a corrupt judicial system when you know you did nothing wrong, but yet you stand before a judge that finds you guilty with no evidence. You know it's wrong when they refuse to let a venue change when they know it's a conflict of interest. But guess what? Situations like today, it's why we march, it's why we ride. Stay focused and stay in the game. Justice for black farmers, justice for Derrick and his animal family. We ride, march for justice.
Now that right there went from, fun, happy-go-lucky farmer
Totally.
to straight militant as fuck. Give me my
hardened. Yeah, they hardened the hell out of them. They forced them to do this.
Exactly. So that tells me right there that within this 2 years, it was a lot. It was a lot. There was a toll taken out on you. Okay, it's a lot of stuff that you went through that we probably couldn't even imagine what you went through. So I want you to let them know. Did this change you? And how did it change you?
It's I liked where you made the parallels of my quote unquote evolving, right? The toll, the magnitude, the gravity, the perplexity that this situation has put on the shoulders of one man is breathtaking. You got everything from losing people to death, to animals, to animal deaths, to human deaths, to land theft, to deformation, to the list goes on and on. And yes, when I first that person that you saw on top of that on that top of that horse right there, that I didn't necessarily before see myself in that regard, my whole hope in the beginning of this is like, hey, I'm animal therapy. I'm this animal therapy advocate, and I just want to see people healed and helped and, and a very warm natured in every sense of the way. But when you lose so much and you have so many sleepless nights and your tears flow so much and your pain just begins to wrap you up, and I had no choice but evolve because I cried out for help. I cried out to the NAACP. I cried out to mainstream media. I cried out to other big black farmers. I cried out to the justice organizations. But guess what? I cried out to them, but my tears was of no reputation, and they did not care, and they did not help, and I was still left with a massive battle. So a warrior had to be born. Someone that was going to defend my animals' lives, that my animals lost their lives through this. There's bloodshed in this, and I could not allow my animals' justice to count for nothing. So yes, I evolved. I started leading my justice fight myself. When they didn't show up and those organizations would not help me, and I got tired of begging and asking, this is a noble cause. This is I'm one of those weird cases that's out there. Maybe a niche case, maybe the first of its kind in modern day. You have animals. I represent life. Animal therapy saves the lives of humans. Wildlife rescue saves the lives of animals. I'm not a car dealership or a restaurant. I do stuff that matters. We do stuff that matters in the preservation of life. So yes, I went from that guy, my animal family, and myself, in my case, it needed a warrior at this point because people are not stepping up to help and did not step up to help me. My voice was being muffled out and the county tried to destroy it and tried to take away my First Amendment right through all these things. And I had to lead the fight as a warrior. And I encourage others to join the justice fight now. At first, I just was like, hey, to iron itself out, it'll be fine. They're going to do the right thing. This is the justice system that, they know what they're doing. They've made a mistake. They'll see it. It won't go but so far. Well, guess what? It went even farther. And then it went out of the parameters of anything that I could imagine. So yeah, so now I sit as a justice warrior, as a justice advocate. Now I not only do animal therapy and wildlife rescue, but now I'm very passionate about corruption that's embedded in systems now. When people are being harmed, innocent people are harmed, and no one else is standing up and helping them. It's birthed the warrior to fight for people now. It's birthed the warrior for that. Upon restructure, I'll be opening an organization that where humans and animals unite in the justice fight. When I'm putting 50 horses on it, when I bring 50 horses and 50 armed water buffalo, like in war plates to town, I promise you we're going to get some attention that way. So I'm immobilizing. My structure has changed. I've gotten more mature through this process, but the pain has molded me into a justice warrior. I'm still an animal advocate, and I can tell you about the ruminant stomachs of animals and how to do enrichment. I can tell you that stuff all day. But now, I'm multifaceted, and I've had to be this person.
When we were talking earlier today, and we was talking about the different organizations that reached out and to try to reach out to you and whatnot, but there were some organizations that actually turned their back on you when you actually going for help, and one of them, which I hate to even say this, was NAACP.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I'm gonna go, and being the fact that I wasn't personally there, Mike wasn't personally there, so everything that we're talking about, we're saying allegedly, this is taking place, okay? So that way, can't nobody come back and start no bullshit. Everything we talking about is alleged. We were not there, but you, on the other hand, were.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
let everybody know exactly what was said to you when you reached out to them.
Absolutely. And part of, in my case, you got to think, man, when you're going through, when you got a whole millionaires, an entire judicial circuit, an entire police department, when you go up against formidable foes like that, you best believe you're reaching out for help and making reports. Man, I reached out to the FBI and all those things, man. I reached out to so many NAACP. And one thing about NAACP, and I speak from testimony. This may not be your story, but this is Derrick's story. This is my story. From what I've seen, the NAACP has been compromised. They are not the freedom warriors that they once were, and advocated for cases like they once did. And quite frankly, I don't know much about what they've been doing in the last couple of years, other than receiving government funds. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm getting into my story. I reached out to them. I cried out to the NAACP. I'm talking about multiple presidents from across the nation, the national chapter. I've wrote them. I've called them. Man, and even out of my own chapters, out of chapters in Georgia, they were so disrespectful to me in every sense of the way, man. They made my case of no reputation, despite millions of people, millions and millions and millions of people. According to Google, my case has gotten over 1.7, not million, billion views. And that was like just last time I checked. And everybody's, a lot of you guys, anybody that follows me knows we've been tagging NAACP. I've been reaching out to them, but they didn't care. They didn't want to help. And I eventually I've accepted it, and I'm like, it is what it is now, and I've had to progress on past that. But I just like I lost faith in the corrupt judicial system. As a young man, I lost faith in the NAACP too, and not just them. There's other organizations too that could have helped. But at the end of the day, everybody's been tagging thousands of you guys been tagging NAACP. But if you look in the media and you look around, you'll see that they're not who they used to be. They've been out. I always say they've been compromised. They have their own agenda now, and it's not the agenda that those freedom fighters, those ones we looked up to when injustice happens, man. They're coming in with the intellect, with the ability, with the fire, all that. I used to believe that too, until my case taught me otherwise.
Wow. So right now, like I said, we got you on here, and you're telling everybody what all's going on. So, for the people that's watching, the people that's going to be watching, if you had a message right now that you wanted to take off from this show, what you need right now, what would it be?
I need help, support. Like this battle has been going on for a really long time. I've done the best I can to fight on my own. I tried to enlist organizations that end up getting into arguments and fighting, because they're fighting with each other. They can't even stay in the game to help my case sometime, and mainstream media has on the CNN, Fox, and all of them, they have not picked up my story yet. granted mega viral out there, but have not broke really, really hard on those networks on mainstream media. So I'm asking people keep on tagging those, keep sharing their story. And then financially, right now, you know, you don't really hear me talk about finance along over these years. I haven't really got really much into finances over the years. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, it's a mega case. I need help. You know, I thought that I would always just insinuate people. No, obviously with this, there's, you know, obviously there's a lot going on here. But in transparency now, like they only had one ploy to win this right here. The only way they were going to win is if they mentally implode me, cause me to have a mental breakdown where I cannot function anymore, and they financially deplete everything I had left. And now in real time, after this battle has drawn out, that's where I'm at now. I have to work 60 hours a week to try to pay the zoo and pay for my other rental, pay for the place where I have to rent until I can go home. Like in December, the Hardys did not pay the mortgage on the property down there. Thousands of dollars I had to pay for the mortgage on top of every other expense. And I'm just one person. You know, I've seen on the internet people put GoFundMe's up and, you know, they're getting $200,000-$300,000 for like causes, you know, that for other causes, not taking anything from their cause. But I'm fighting for the preservation of life. That child with autism cannot escape the box without animal therapy, right? That PTSD veteran that can't get away from war times and cannot find peace, animal therapy can help him. That deer that watched his mom get hit by a car and standing on the side of the road, he needs a bottle and needs to learn how to be an adult deer in the wild one day. I can't help him. We can't help him. So I'm asking that people take on the understanding that right now I'm tired. I've been putting up a fight. I fought viciously as one man keeping this fight alive. It would have been died out if my fervency wasn't there. And I hope that people give. You know, I've asked. You know, I'm asking now. That's what I need now. And with transparency, the county now has a lien. What this year has been with the legal fees and paying dues, and this year, and plus with my mental health, you know, finally taking a toll on me. I've been missing a lot of time out of work now. And this year, I cannot afford to pay my property taxes. I have to pay $13,000 in property taxes that's already due. Now the county has a lien against me. So now they're trying to use that ploy now. And it is what it is. I kept the fight up as long as I can. I've sacrificed. I've labored. I believed. I prayed. And now I'm just like, man, I'm just hoping that somebody sees this video or sees these videos and finds like, you know what? Somebody got to help this young man. And it's going to be me. And I'm going to see it to the end. So I'm going to keep telling the story. I'm going to keep asking people, please reach out to people of influence. Some people see me online and think that I'm okay or think that we're okay. No, we're not okay. They still have the land. I'm in a critical state right now. And I'm on the, you know, I'm gonna end on this note right as far as this topic is concerned. In real time, with everything that's going on in my situation, despite being a national case, all that stuff like that, because I don't have support systems, I'm one mental health breakdown from being homeless as a millionaire and property. Because if I can't go to work, that means I can't pay for none of this stuff that's happening right now. None of it. I can't pay for any of it. They have Liz penances filed against me. They got the property, the company's locked. They got the court. It's tied up in the court. I can't move no funds through any of that stuff. It's all tied up. So I'm one mental health breakdown away from losing everything. You know? But I'm thankful that God has allowed me to keep my mental capacity to still navigate this right here. But I need the people's help. I'm tired of people just seeing my story and like, oh, that sucks. That's unjust. That's all that stuff. And I get it. It is all those things. But people like me are ones that's going to go defend so many other people and actually do the work. And people like me and my animal family is worth helping and investing in. Publicity, I don't think I need any more quote unquote publicity. I've been out there all over the world, so to speak. But quality people that want to help, that can help. Hope they see this video and reach out and actually help.
Yeah, man. You guys right there, make sure you visit the website right there and hit that Cash App as well. Help the ARC, you guys.
I appreciate everything, everybody.
Yeah. Now, also on that, when you hit that help the ARC, or you also have a petition that you have flowing through there as well, correct?
Absolutely, yes. So, and the petition is massive, 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 massive. I ask that you guys and helpthearc.org. You can find everything. You can learn more about my story. You can see, there's, for those of you that like to read all the intricacies. If you hit, my story has a case narrative on it that says full story. You can read the timeline of all this stuff. And excuse me, there's a petition there that says on the petition tab, please go sign a petition. I think we're up to like 700 signatures, and hopefully I'll see what it's going to do over the next 2 weeks or so. And then also just follow me on social media. Like, you just look me up, Derrick Williamson on Facebook. I'm Derrick Williamson. Put Conyers beside it. You'll see a picture of me and a zebra. But really, my followings on TikTok, is where I keep everything organized and keep everything there. I'm going to be having like another activation, another march soon and ride. I'm going to be having like a fundraiser, like a benefit ride and a benefit ride / barbecue or situation like that, where you can come out and meet me or support and just help. That way I can try to raise funds to help me and the animal families as we go through these difficult times. So petition is on there. Go to helptheark.org, okay? And you can learn about the story. And follow me on TikTok, because that's where I keep everybody up to breast of what's going on. And, I'm just one person, so all this media stuff, it's a lot. I got all these platforms. It's a lot. I'm not the most, when it comes to training water buffaloes and camels and dealing with alligators and stuff like that, I'm your guy. But when it comes to that social media, boy, I'm learning. I've had to come a long way on learning it. But
you're doing a good job. You're doing well. Obviously, you're getting the attention that it needed, and it still needs obviously way more. Obviously, I guess millions and millions and millions of views is not good enough yet. So we're just going to continue pushing on, and making sure that this story's actually told.
Right. With when I first heard this story last week, somebody had called me and told me about this story, and he was like, "Man, you think you can do a show and talk about it?" Absolutely, say less. Because it was unbelievable. I heard right then, and this guy who was telling me about it didn't even know everything that was going on. And then I had a conversation with you, and then you shared with me a lot of information. This information. There's still tons of information that we ain't even bring up. That was just a one-on-one between me and you.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to you, brother.
Yeah, for real.
We at the Dominant Effect, we gonna keep up with this. I'm gonna keep up with you. We're gonna keep making posts. We'll post. We'll do everything humanly possible to try to support you. You said that you had something you're trying to bring up in the Atlanta, Georgia area in the March, get into April. We're gonna be, when you get the flyer and stuff, like I said, let me know. We'll post it. We'll get people involved that's in that area to help you out. And if anybody that's watching that knows someone that this man can get a hold of that's going to help him, whether it's in the state office, lawyers, anyone, because this man needs it. He's been battling for 2 years now. He's been paying these lawyer fees, still paying the taxes on this place, and he's still paying taxes and house notes on stuff that he can't even go.
He can't even go.
You know what I mean? And what they're doing now is like okay, so eventually he gonna run out of money. Then the place goes into default, and then I'll go buy it on pennies on the dollar, and then it's on to me.
They bleed you dry. They bleed you dry. They squeeze you because they got the funds. You don't. That's what they do.
So if I had to tell you anything, Derrick, I'll tell you two things. Number one, we're gonna stick by you no matter what. Number two, I need you to keep this about you. You know what I mean? Because no matter what's going on, I understand the pressure and the heartache that you're going through. But also know that there's people here that's supporting you, that's going to be with you. If you need to talk, you know how to get a hold of us. You know what I mean? If you need us there, we'll make it there. You know what I mean? Because I'll round up the posse and we'll show up. You know what I mean? Since they want to squat, shit, we'll go there and squat too, goddammit. You know what I mean? We'll make it do what it do. You know what I mean? But know that you're not by yourself. Okay? Now, I know that you've been on countless shows talking about this same thing, and I don't know whether anybody has told you that. But what I'm telling you right now, I mean 1,000. So we're gonna stay on this. We're gonna keep pushing information out. As you get information, you run it to us, and we're gonna post it, And we're going to do everything humanly possible to reach out to our people to help you as much as we can.
I appreciate that. And I really do appreciate it. And guys, I've done a lot of interviews, man, but I can say this one's different, man. It encapsulated everything I would have wanted it to encapsulate, man, as far as the message and then the depth. I like the depth and the concern that the whole culture of the show did and stuff, and it's encouraging to me, and it strengthens my countenance. I saw someone comment, don't give up, Derrick. And it's every step forward like this right, and every platform that has a heart to understand and want to help, it just gives me a little bit more energy points, justice points, faith points to keep on going, So I thank y'all so much. And to those y'all see that some of y'all are supporting the Cash App and the GoFundMe, I appreciate it so much because, man, I'm trying the best I can. I'm just one person. Lord knows I mean well. I'm trying to do the best I can, and I'm in that critical state where I need help now, And so I thank y'all for having me on the show today. This is definitely, out of all the shows I've done, I can honestly say that this has been the most free, heartfelt show that I think I've ever been on. And so I appreciate that the concern and the follow-up, that being intentional about that, man. It means a lot to me and my animal family. So we're forever grateful. Thank you to all the listeners and supporters that support this show. And thank y'all as well. I saw that I was able to read some of you all's comments as they showed up. I appreciate you guys. And please let somebody know if you have a friend or know a celebrity or somebody in legislation. I've learned that money is powerful. We get that part. Money allows people to do certain things and move certain ways and stuff like that. But it's nothing compared to influence. When a person makes a call and is like, hey, listen, I need you to do this for me. I need you to look at this for me. It's not about that. And people that's successful, that people that already sit in the atmosphere, they're not as inclined to move by minimum money sometimes. It's the influence that's there. So some of you all may know people. Use your influence to help me, to help my animal family. I promise you it's going on good ground. I need it. And you don't know, you don't know who knows. So you may be the one person sitting in Arkansas at your laptop watching me, and you're the one, you're the missing piece that this needs, man. Make the calls, please. Help.
Absolutely, man. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, first of all. And Archbishop, he is, a psychologist, first and foremost. This man is, he when he sees something, he grabs a hold of it and is like locked on it, and me and him, we contact each other all throughout the week, of course. And he was on it, like white on rice with this. Like, he was like, dude, like, this is insane. Wait until you hear the whole story on this kind of thing. And absolutely, man. And thank you because I know you've been probably harassed by a whole bunch of people that want to bring you on just to have you as content, and not have an actual discussion and or be able to actually care about the person that's coming on, right? Absolutely. You can tell them the motives. So I personally thank you for that testimony. And we're going to make sure that we follow up as best as possible. Like, you contact us, and we're going to have these people contacting us. We're going to get them in contact with you. Like, that's just the way this works. And you're very right. Influence is mega. Okay. I mean, you nailed it right on the head. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Absolutely. And you're right about that. So yeah, you said it best. It could be a guy in Arkansas right now watching on a laptop, and you could be that missing piece.
Absolutely. And guys, I want to say this one last thing too, that I didn't really get too deep into this. It's a little, it's interesting when you look at my case. You guys know that I'm in the deep South. It's in the deep South, and you're talking about millions of dollars, conspiracy, publicity. The Ku Klux Klan just had a national meeting within a few minutes of my farm, within just a couple miles of my farm in my city, some time back. There's been my windows. If you go through my TikTok, my windows have been bust out, my vehicles vandalized. They've hired, allegedly professional stalkers to manipulate stuff, to do things to me. That's why my march in Atlanta, I had to get the Fred Hampton Gun Club to come out and do, they're my personal security. They do security for Dr. Umar too. And they've been making sure to help defend my body, defend my life, because I've received threats and, I've received threats and things. So this case, there's a lot that goes into this, So
well, yeah, you lost your Second Amendment right. You can't even protect yourself.
I can't even.
You have to literally hire other people.
Absolutely. And then I have to, and it's a lot of times, like, and the higher security like that is very costly. But it's better for when I have activations and things, it's better to hire to try to figure out what to do to get them here and not have them. And then because I am a target, I've received a lot of. I'm not about to get into old security. I've had to sit in the many security briefings, but thankful to General Talib and to them, they figure out how to make it happen because I have very limited resources like these days. But a lot of resources I've had to use and will use to have to get them here because I've received a lot of threats. There's hits out for me because obviously my person in my company is worth millions right now, millions in the clear right now. So, and that's motivation for people to do things. And we've seen through these videos and through these people in place, the unity that they operate in this conspiracy. You got all of them protecting each other. And they're like, if we're going to go down, we're all going down together. And if any one of them decides they want to move against me or whatever the case, it's kind of hard to pinpoint. But I understand the security risk that I'm in on a day-to-day basis. I have to take when I drive, I have to take different ways back and forth, different places. I do not go out in public anymore. There's a lot of things I've had to change my life in order to protect my life in this too. So it's also a massive security risk too. That's why I'm just ready for all this to be over so I can go home and rebuild and move on to the next thing and get reestablished my company. So I understand that, the time I'm praying that, God protects me and keeps me, but y'all got to understand too, I'm under a massive security risk every single day. I don't know when somebody's going to come through one of my doorways one day masked up. The Ku Klux Klan being a few minutes from my house. I don't know when they're going to try to come up. Well, the farm down there. I don't know when they're going to try to make a mobilization on me. I don't know those things, but it's never going to stop me from fighting for the justice and for my animal family. I don't operate in fear. I am aware, so I'm smart about how I move now. Don't get me wrong, but it's not their threats and all these things against me. It's not enough to stop me from doing what I know to be right. I stand up for myself, for my animal family, and for a hell of a lot of people out there that's going through something similar. I fight for you in the media too, guys.
Damn.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate being on this platform, and it means a lot to me. This one hit home. This is good. This is really good. I'm hopeful to be in contact. I'm sure we'll be in contact for the long haul. As updates on the case, man. I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you, Derrick. Again, thank you guys, and make sure you guys go follow him on all his social platforms. Derrick Williamson over at Facebook. I'm sure you guys could type that in on Google.
Yeah,
and TikTok, Instagram, everything is going to pop up. So go follow him.
It will.
Definitely go show your support. So, Derrick, thank you again. We'll see you guys. We'll see you in the green room here in a little bit. But thank you so much for coming on to the show. So, Archbishop, that was about as heavy as it gets right there. First of all, if I were to be just removed from my own household alone, I don't have 75 acres, right? I don't have animals. I don't have anything of value like that. I have my own home. If I got removed from my home alone and some other family is living in it while I'm gone and I'm paying on it, paying taxes, doing all this stuff, how would you not go crazy, right? That part is intense. And I feel for him because it's much more than just a home. It's not just his home. It's his animal's home too. And he means that. And it's very, very sad because it's not just him affected. I mean, you guys saw the property. The property is a beautiful property, but he can't even live on there and he can't operate his company. He can't do anything there. And he's getting harassed by an entire circuit. Like, dude, this is nuts. This has to go federal. This has to go federal.
I mean, something's
gonna pop.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do something. I mean, think about this. He's a 28-year-old African American male farmer. 28 years old and a farmer. Okay, now he gets kudos in my book just for doing that.
You're right.
I mean, because when I was 28 years old, the last thing I was thinking about was farming.
Right.
Okay.
Facts.
Now he was doing this before then, but not only was he farming, but he was also taking on rescue animals, treating them, and then using those animals but as therapy to humans to
Right.
help them on their way.
So how does it magically go from that?
But see,
to
here's the thing,
this?
though. Just concentrate on what I just said there.
Okay.
Who does that?
Right.
At
Who
that
even
age?
does that in the first place?
Exactly. Who does that? You know what I
Right.
mean? And then, out of the goodness of your heart, you take someone in and you call yourself being righteous and you call yourself being, okay, what would God do? And okay, I'm going to do the godly thing and I'm going to bring these people in here and I'm going to help them, not knowing that these people have way more than you.
Mm-hmm.
20 times more than you. Well, he said 60 places, 60 times more than you, but let you do it.
Yep.
They let you move them in, you know, and when the time was right, then they turned against you and they kicked you out your own spot. And now you fighting everybody. And he ain't really fighting. He ain't fighting them damn court judges because he's doing wrong. He's fighting them court judges because he's a black dude, own all this goddamn property in my county, and I ain't even know he had it.
That's
the
the problem.
Let's just keep this shit funky. That's just what
Right.
it is. I mean, now, this man needs help. He needs help in a major way. So, anyone watching this show, you see it right here. You see it right here. And then I'm going to have my banner up under that. You can let that scroll through. Anybody that you know, have them to contact us, contact me, contact him, contact somebody on this show. Contact Mike Ball. Contact anybody.
Yep.
This man needs help. And if you go through 6 degrees of separation, everybody knows somebody within 3 calls to help this man. So I'm asking you all to reach out and do what you would expect somebody to do for you.
Right. Start connecting the dots on this.
And help him.
Right.
You can't get no easier than that. But we've been on here for what? $1:42. I didn't think it was going to be that long, but being the fact of what we was talking about, I knew it was going to run a little long. So I appreciate everybody for hanging on.
Absolutely.
And a couple of y'all said earlier about y'all was talking about my shirt. Did y'all see it? I said, "What up, though? The What Up, Though T-shirt."
And it glows in the dark too. That's what it doesn't even just do that. It glows in the dark.
Yeah. So that's something else we're gonna add to the repertoire. But shout out to Lotus for hooking me up with that. I mean, that was a surprise, but being the fact that this is what I say all the time, everybody kind of know if you know me, this is what I say. Yeah. Yes, we got quite a few. I mean, they working diligently trying to get that website set up to where anybody was looking for merch and stuff like that. It's going to be set up soon. They're working on it right now. It should be up and running here real soon. Next week, 7 days, we're going to have another good show for you. I'm kind of bouncing between 2 good ones, but it's going to be another good one. Going to be another controversial show like we do. But
that's what we do here. That's our favorite thing. The things that YouTube and the rest of the platforms don't like to show. We're happy to do so.
Right. I mean, I'm much obliged because the truth needs to get out about a lot of this. And it seemed like all the stuff that we've been talking about has been dealing just with that, putting out the truth.
Yep. It's like exposing the truth.
Right. You would think that that the truth would be easily obtained.
Right.
But in fact,
It goes so buried under so many layers.
Right. It's the worst thing to find.
Terrible.
You know? So, like I said, I appreciate you guys, every one of you that come on and hitting the like button to come on and listen to us every week. You know what I mean? I don't know whether y'all notice or not, but the subscription is off the chain.
Yep,
the
it sure is.
Blowing up. I mean, I don't know how it's doing it, but I thank God that it's doing it. It is blowing up. Any of you that haven't went on there and actually looked at it, you need to go on there and check it out. Go on the Diamond Effect. Hit the damn subscribe button. You know what I mean? You ones that's on Facebook, go on there. Hit that subscribe button. You know what I mean? You ones that's watching it that haven't seen it yet, hit that subscribe button. Because we're going to come on here every week. We're going to give you something even better than the week before. And the week before that. So tune in.
Yes, sir. Much love and respect to everybody. Thank you guys for coming and tuning in with your boys. And I wish I could end this on a great note. You know, it feels rough with what's the circumstances is, but man. That's to all of you guys.
One more thing before we end this. I want to put this out. Y'all notice for the past couple of weeks we've been playing songs at the beginning, we've been playing a song at the end. These are actual groups that are coming out, and they blessing us with their music to play on these shows. So the first one that you heard before the show started, it was by Koozie Hologram Connor, Flashy K, and Gene 2X. The one we're gonna listen to at the end of this show is titled "Free" by Frank Grant, and it's actually a really good song. Really good song. We're gonna play it, and if you guys like that song, or the song that was played at the beginning, hit us up, and then we'll let them know. You know what I mean? And if y'all really like the song, we'll play it again. If you missed the song, let us know. We'll play it again for you to hear. But we're trying to reach out to these musicians, these artists. You got a song, you got a video, you want us to play it, hit me up.
That's right.
So we're gonna play that little beat for them as we head out.
Head on out. Yes, sir. So on that note, we'll see you guys in 7 days.
One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free, then let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free, mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm standing at the crossroads, feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna I'm gonna be free. Let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I told them take their aim off me. Stop trying to get a name off me. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free.